we got some major news and not good news for Golden State Warriors and their fans. So Draymond Green has been suspended 1 game after stepping on Sabonis. Green's suspension was based in part of his history of unsportsmanlike acts. This is a huge major blow for Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors. They're down 2-0 right now, heading back to Golden State, looking to right the ship, looking to get things back together, and they lost their defensive anchor, their tough guy, a lot of ways their playmaker, and I don't see the Warriors recovering. And before we dive into the Warriors as a whole, I know many people are kind of split on Draymond Green and what happened in that game, but here's the problem. However you feel, whether you think Draymond Green was justified for the ejection or not, or if you thought he did something wrong or not, regardless. The problem is that when you have a history repeatedly of these unsportsmanlike antics, you kicking players in the you-know-whats, giving players dirty shots, you punching a teammate in the face, you constantly see this resume of Draymond Green and his antics. And you see people constantly sticking up for him. Even guys like Colin Cowherd, right? Some of his points I like every once in a while. I think he's spot on stuff. A lot of times I think he misses the mark a lot. But nonetheless, somebody like him, you see him jump through hoops to try to defend Draymond Green. And part of that is he's on his network and all that stuff. But just because somebody's on your network, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's your job to call them out. That's the thing. If I had Draymond Green on my network, hey buddy, if you're doing silly stuff like that, I gotta talk about it. You understand the business, you know how it works. Don't do stuff like that. I gotta give my points and what I thought about it. But you see all these people that are defending his antics, but when you have a repeated, just resume of issues, it's really hard to go, okay, well that time he wasn't really doing that. It's like somebody that has a repeated history of like burglary, or stealing stuff, right? It's like, they've been arrested 15 times for stealing, and something in your house goes missing, and everyone looks at the guy that has a resume of stealing stuff. Are you going to be like, nah, it's not him, he wouldn't have done it this time? No, you're going to be like, that guy did it. Well, he's got it in his bag. No, he was just holding it for him. That's all it was. He wasn't going to actually take it and leave the place. Like, at some point, you got to look at it and go, okay, like, that's just who he is. He makes dirty plays. Sabonis, should he grabbed his ankle and all that stuff? No, he shouldn't have. Sabonis did something instead of Draymond Green, just saying, hey, let Sabonis get the technical, Draymond Green fall into the floor or something, and trying to change the tide of the game instead. What happened? You got ejected and changed the tide negatively for your team. It's just Draymond Green has affected this team in such a negative light constantly, especially this year. And I just think the Warriors are done. I do. And the Warriors are going to have a lot of questions this coming offseason. Are they going to trade Draymond Green? I think they have to. Draymond's probably going to opt in because I don't think he's going to get a bigger contract than what he's going to get next season. I don't see a team paying him a max. I don't see a team paying him more than probably like $15 million a year. I don't even think he might get that much. But, because you got to deal with the antics, the knuckleheadness, him missing games just solely on getting too many technicals or getting ejected. You got to deal with, his decline, his offensive liabilities. I mean, it's just, Draymond Green is a great defensive player, one of the best. But outside of that, he doesn't really provide you anything. And is his antics really worth it? I think maybe in the right team, the right situation, sure. But the Warriors are just stuck because last year might have been their last year. Everyone's a year older. Everyone's a bit tired. It's just this was a rough year from the start for the Warriors. And it's at some point you got to start making the transition to the youth. That, or they need to package all their young guys and go get some real players. go retool. Take Kuminga and Poole and Moody and all those guys, go package them together and go get another star or two and try to push again for another championship. Outside of that, it's you're either going for the rebuild or you're going for the contention. But this middle of the pack thing isn't going to work. And I think the Kings are going to win game 3 now. And they're going to go up 3-0. And the series is over. Because the Warriors are not going to come back down 3-0. They're not. Maybe the Warriors make it interesting, but I think that's it. I think very likely what will happen is the Kings are going to go in. They're going to win game 3. After they win game 3, they'll probably lose game 4. And then they're going to go back to Sacramento. And they're going to close it out in 5. And that's it. That's how this is probably going to go. Very likely. Now, if the Warriors win game 3, maybe it changes it around. I just don't see it. I think what Draymond Green provides this Warriors team is just so valuable. And you see one team that is just more athletic. They're faster. They're more physical. They're getting easier looks and shots. And you see another team that just looks slower. They look old. They look like they're getting bullied. They're having to take these insanely difficult shots constantly. You're having to rely on the heroics of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson because you can't generate the baskets that you need. And it's just one team just looks better than the other. And look, it's the Warriors. Maybe they could turn it around. But surprisingly, this is a position the Warriors have never been in. In the Steph Curry era, the Warriors have never been down 0-2. Ever. So this is even new territory. This is new pressure that they've never been in. And the Warriors are not a good road team. I mean, it's just, we've seen the signs all year. And to think that all of a sudden they're just going to flip the switch and turn it around. I get it's the Warriors. And maybe they do. You can never really count out the Warriors. I wouldn't sell your house or anything on it. But I think we're seeing the end of the dynasty here. I really do. I think that this is it. I think either two things happen. Either the Warriors need to go and they need to get rid of Draymond, trade Jordan Poole, trade Kuminga, trade Moody, and try to go all in one last time with Steph, Klay, and Wiggins and see what you can do. Maybe go try to go get a center and a power forward, right? Go try to get 2 guys. Get something like that. Get some depth. Go get some pieces, whatever, right? I think you either go do something like that and you make one last push with Wiggins, Klay, and Steph, or you start blowing it up. You trade Draymond, you maybe trade Wiggins, maybe trade Klay. I don't think you can really trade Steph. Unless, he just says, hey, you know what, I want you to trade me. I don't want to go through a rebuild. Because at some point, the Warriors have to make the decision. And look, maybe we won't have this conversation, but I just think in another week, I'm going to be making a video. We're going to be talking about how the Warriors just got swept or they just lost in 5. And that's it. It's time to blow it up. I just do. I just don't see the Warriors all of a sudden turning it around after all this time. And Draymond, at some point, if you're the Warriors, you got to be sick of the antics. At some point, if you're the Warriors, you got to say, all right, enough is enough. Can't keep putting up with this. There was an argument to be made to trade him at the trade deadline, and they didn't. I don't see a scenario where this gets fixed unless they start blowing it up, and they're gonna have to make a decision. Do you go all in and try to keep winning a championship? Or do you just say, hey, it's time to rebuild? It was fun while it lasted. All good things come to an end. Let's start selling off some pieces here. Because you're going to have to pay Draymond again. You're going to have to pay Klay. You're going to have to pay all these guys. And you're already insanely over the cap for a team that might end up just getting swept or losing in a gentleman's sweep in the first round of the playoffs. When you just barely squeezed into the playoffs to begin with. Yeah, you just won a championship. Congrats. You got that championship. You got Steph his 4th. Let Steph go somewhere. Go trade Steph somewhere and let him go get his fifth. Just ask him, where do you want to go? You want to go to the Knicks or something? Sure. There you go. Go get a bunch of draft picks and assets and all that stuff and figure it out. But I don't know. Those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think the Warriors should do? Do you think the Warriors are done? Do you think they're not? Do you think the Draymond Green suspension was justified? Do you think it's not? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know.